the years. We fought campaigns in Chile against the dictator of Chile, helping to support elder natives of the Biobío River to secure justice. We brought in Johnny White Cloud, the late Johnny White Cloud, to lead in a prayer for justice. We don't know it was that prayer, but when Pinochet went to Spain, they held him until he died for crimes against humanity. They would have 1,500 people machine gunned down in the stadiums. It was vicious. Reagan and the Pope negotiated a deal with him. Step down from the presidency and you can keep control of the army and the police. And they were actively throwing elders off high places to take their land. We worked with Mayan Lacandon in Guatemala and Mexico. Brought them up, traveled with them. Great people, sent people in there to work with them, to hear them. We went to Earth Summit, Rio de Janeiro. I got to debate the Vice President of the United States for 5 minutes. They're saying our forest is well preserved, and I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, but you're clear-cutting our forest. You have no right to act like we're not clear-cutting and then to speak out against the Amazon clear-cuts. You got to practice what you preach at home. You know, and not to put the man down, but have your facts straight. You know, and we did work in Europe and South Africa, but also throughout the United States. We believe in justice and environmental justice. I went down and my brother here, Fred, we went down to see the chief of Celilo Falls, the village, Chief Olson Mianis. Letting him know we're in your territory. We're here. Don't want to insult anybody. This is their life right here. This river is their life, their culture. They've been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. 10, 15. Who knows how long they've been here. We know we've been in the Pacific Northwest here for 10 to 14,000 years. Our legends tell us when the mountains were growing. You might not believe that, but it was the glaciers shrinking, and it looked like the mountains were growing. And our children were told the stories of when they grew, became mates, and had children. We talk about when the river came and formed, and how it formed. We saw it come into existence. We saw the salmon come into the Northwest, and we cherished them. That bear transforming into a human. That's part 2 of the Salmon Woman story. Salmon Woman brought the salmon children to our people. We're supposed to honor and respect her and her gift. Bear's kind of like Coyote. He went up there and hurt the salmon spawning habitat, the salmon children. And so he's a lesson to our children. We have legends and myths and folklore like everybody else. Song, dance, and ceremony, rituals and sacred words, language. At one time we had a name for everything before the changer came. Everything was older than us. We're the youngest children of creation. You are the youngest children of creation. And everything took a final form and gave a gift to you, the children, the youngest children. You get something from the trees, the birds, the bees, the salmon, everything comes from your older brothers and sisters. I was talking up above, and I was thinking, wow, maybe you don't understand us. We heard that you got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. You must have been really up to some mischief. You know, Adam means Adamus. That's where the word Adam, name Adam, comes from. Adamus. It means red earth. We paint ourselves with red earth. It goes all the way back. They dug up a young girl east of here and north. She was 14,000 years old. Radiocarbon dating. Flint knives. Bone gang. And red paint. It just made me so happy. We know red paint goes way back. But her bone gang set was several hundred years older than her. It was handed down. She was a somebody when they buried her. And the bone game was a game between the animals and the people to see who would have domination. And the humans won. But that means we dominate nature. We took on stewardship for all of the others. We have an obligation. So all of that, song, dance, ceremonies, sacred regalia, symbols, paint, everything. It's a part of a whole living culture that taught the children, you have respect. Have respect. You only take what you need. And you leave some for the 7 generations away. You should leave more for them than you had when you came into this life. That's your duty. Well, you can call it the public trust now. But the public trust is not strong enough by law. And we can see that our politicians are very easily swayed when you got cases like Citizens United saying corporations are people too. Now they can just fill the pockets of our politicians, and they're looking the other way and not hearing the public voice. We appreciate what we hear from the environmental groups. Save the salmon, save the Columbia River, save the forest. As indigenous peoples, there's sacred sites in there, sacred places. We say if you fast long enough, if you believe hard enough, if you're taught, you'll hear the songs of the tree. That man, Chavez Tatum, she was quoting. He'll always talk like that. Always talk like that. But you got to believe. You got to go in there, not hurt, not damage, not destroy. Believe that it's a sacred place, and the tree will sing to you. Now you can hook up little wires to it and hear the rhythm of the tree or the grass or the flower. We had Emoto come to Lummi. Emoto wrote a book, The Power of Water. Our ancestors, our elders said, believe in that water. Go into that water. Pray at daybreak. This is the way we have always been. That water's sacred. Don't be afraid just because there's ice in it. It'll make you tougher. You'll believe harder when you do that. You must believe. You say, why did I go in that freezing water? I must really believe. Sounds crazy until you get in there and you feel it. And so Emoto did research on it, and he found that the water hears you. The water feels you. The water sees you. Water wants to be respected more than it wants to be loved, he said. He showed a picture of the earth to water, and it formed crystals of love. The water loves the earth. You're 78% water. The rest of you come from your Mother Earth. But I'm sorry, we live in a society where we are the pigs of the world. We consume more, waste more than any other people on the earth. Now, what type of example are we to the rest of the world? They need this forest. It's breathing. And it's helping us fight global warming. Our elders gathered over 40 years ago. This man was involved from 14 tribes along the U.S.-Canada border. And they talked about the sacredness of that forest. And they explained why it was so important. The reason they did that, because we had high hopes. The United States was going to had enacted the American Indian Religious Freedom Act. Finally! Finally, you're going to really practice tolerance. You came here for freedom of religion, then oppressed us. Just go to the American Indian Religious Crimes Code and read it. No jury, no trial, no right. You want straight to prison. You say, oh, that's the past. No, that happened in the 1980s. They arrested our elders for having eagle feathers. Taking it off regalia. You bad Indians. You got eagle feathers. And then meanwhile, they're letting the sheep farmers kill as many as they want. But it's the bad Indians killing the eagles. Then they arrested our spiritual leaders. 2 of them refused to testify in federal court, so they were thrown in jail. They became political prisoners. This is the 1980s. This is an ancient history. This is in our lifetime. But we still believe that we have rights to believe. I worked with, and Dr. Russo and I worked with the churches, and they signed off in 1987. The Apology of Churches. We're sorry we helped oppress you. We're sorry that we did not do anything to help you, save you, protect you. We feel bad. So all the church will sign off, the denominations. But what did you do? What did you do? Words are easy. It's hard to commit. It's really hard to take action. It's hard to put your words that you speak into real action. And so that's why I appreciate I see the Save Our Salmon people. Wow, I'm seeing you guys every place. You know, wherever we go, there they are. You know, and we're proud of the Sierra Club and Ethel Trust and all the groups that are out there putting their words to action. Save the Columbia River, putting your words to action. Everybody has a part of the responsibility. And so when we do these journeys, we're asking churches, environmental groups, do something, take action, work together. And we came down here, we've been to Hood River and the Dalles, stopped the coal ports. You know, and everybody worked together and all 5 coal ports went down. All right? Not in our area. We're not going to poison our waters, our salmon, our children. And the people spoke out. You know, that's the type of unity that we need to always remember. Your voice matters. Now, in the churches, they re-signed that apology in 97, 2007. Then they started backing away in 2017. You don't hear about it anymore. And a minister came to my carpenter shop, and we talked about it. She said, well, what should we have done? I think she was hurt. I said, all you had to do as churches was begin every sermon with these words. God created all things. All things are sacred. And then you can preach anything you want after that. And you would have had over 40 years of children growing up hearing those words. That is what it takes. You know, I don't think God intended you to destroy earth, destroy paradise. We harvested for 3 months out of the year before contact. 3 months. And we had 9 months of spiritual celebration. You know what we're doing? We're giving stuff to everybody. Here, we harvested this. Take some home. Don't go hungry. Here. They call that potlatch society. They outlawed it in Canada. Those crazy Indians are giving their food to their relatives. You know, the Chinook salmon from the Columbia River feeds the southern resident killer whale pond. We tried to bring Tokikai home. We had the commitments. We did 2 campaigns to Florida, helping, asking people, speak out, put pressure, and the pressure hit them. But somehow she died, even though she was healthy. She died. She wasn't going to be a bad example to other whales in captivity. I think she was murdered. I don't care what anybody says. I think she was murdered. So we brought her ashes home. At least her ashes went home. But Tahlequah, her daughter died. And that mom carried that baby for 17 days on her nose for over 1,000 miles. Did we get the message? Did we hear her? Look what you're doing to my children! I'm a mother too! Look! Do you feel anything? Do you understand what I'm doing? I'm trying to talk to you humans. Do you get the message? What do I have to do? Now Alki is doing the same thing, carrying her dead baby on her nose. She just lost her. They are starving. Columbia River feeds them. Those Chinooks are important. And so we've done journeys all the way up to the Nez Perce, supporting them on the removal of the earth dams. We came down up from Klamath. They had a dam removed. They're very excited, very grateful, but always vigilant. Still a lot of work to do. Same thing with Alwa. They got the dam removed. The salmon came right home. After 100 some years, the salmon came right home. And now somebody had an oil spill up there. They're clear cutting all the way around it. Lummi and Nooksack and local government moved a dam out of the middle fork of the Nooksack River. You know, so there are campaigns that are successful, but we have to continue to say, you gotta protect the habitat. The chief down at Celilo Village, he says, look at all that algae out there. That's all invasive. It was never here. It comes in on the boats. Now it's spreading into Columbia. And in our part of the river, all that silt is coming down. Nobody helps us clean our part of the river, like downstream. He goes, it's warming up, it's changing. You know, and I wanted to really respect the village because they're still there. And they're Yakima, they're from North Springs, they're from Umatilla, they all have relatives. And I respect and love those tribes because they know the importance of the Columbia River, all of them. And so we try to go through and think of them when we're going through their territory. But we're really grateful to each and every one of you because we're living in a time where your forefathers' freedoms are being crushed. Anybody that looks like a native from Middle America, South America, out. I'm sorry. You know, they're not throwing the Germans out up in the northern border or the Scandinavians. You know, and we think, wow, they did that to the Japanese. Well, let's look away. Your freedom to speak, your freedom to assemble, your freedom to petition your grievances. Those are rights the Founding Fathers amended the Constitution to secure because the people demanded those rights. Those rights came from the people. We will not ratify this Constitution without those rights. We've learned our lesson, and the U.S. Constitution is founded upon the people. The Supreme Court is starting to look the other way. I don't think they're guardians of the Constitution anymore. I'm sorry, maybe you're a Republican. I didn't say it. Trump said it. You know what he said about Republicans. If I ever run for office, I will run as, because of the dumbest people, blah, blah, blah. But it's not just them. A lot of people are being hurt. Women, children, elders, veterans, Native people. You know, it makes me think of the poet, the author. Well, during World War II, they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't do anything. They came for the gypsies, and I wasn't a gypsy, and I didn't do anything. They came for the social democrats, and I wasn't a social democrat, so I didn't do anything. They came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't speak up. Now they came for me, and there's no one left to speak up. This is we, the people of the United States. When the government fails, whether it's the Democrats, Republicans, the House, or the Senate, or the presidency, or the Supreme Court, the last power is the people. That's your Constitution. You can amend the Constitution as you see fit. And it was intended that there should never be tyranny in this country ever again. And so, the power of the king was split up. The Congress makes the laws, the president enforces the laws, and the court interprets the laws. And when the law is wrong or being misapplied, the people have the final say. Yes. But you have to believe in your constitutional power. That's your Constitution. It's a living document as long as you exercise the right to vote. President George Washington left a message for you. Go to his records. He said, beware the political party. It will lead to tyranny as much as any other form. Beware. That was his message as he departed as President of the United States. And so, we're happy to come on these journeys. We're happy to try to encourage and share, not to hurt. But I always try to tell myself, tell the truth. That's what our people tell you. When your breath is sacred. The first breath is sacred and the last breath is sacred. What you do with every breath in between is the measurement of your life. The United States, I'm glad to see some Cherokees here. They're civilized. Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Cree, and Seminole. East Coast tribes were the civilized tribes. They had strong government. They wrote their language. They were considered civilized. And above them were the Iroquois Confederacy. And the United States Congress in 1989 enacted House Concurrent Resolution 331, called it Iroquois and Choctaw Confederacy Resolution. And it says, thank you, Iroquois and Choctaw Confederacies, for being role models for America's form of constitutional government. Now, one of the gifts they gave them was respect for the speaker on the floor. That's what's exercised in the House and the Senate. Now you're starting to see some young congressmen booing the speaker on the floor. That's English. You're in the wrong place. That came from England. We don't do that here. This is a sacred floor. You don't boo the speaker. You wait your turn. Then you can take the floor if you don't agree with it. But that was a gift. One of the rules that they tried to teach to the Founding Fathers was the power of the women to balance out male power. But they kind of didn't look, didn't see that part, didn't hear that part. Took a long fight to finally get women exercising their right to vote. And one of those activists was Ida Mae Adams, a lawyer from Southern California. She fought really hard for the female right to vote. And when she was done, she looked around, what else can I do? Oh, wait, those Indians, those Navajos, those Sioux, those Northwest Indians are going to jail, prison, for trying to practice their religious freedom. Let's make them a citizen. That way they have First Amendment religious freedom. And so she drove it and drove it. They wanted to honor the American Indians that fought in World War I. And trust me, Native Americans have fought in every war this country has gone into. They volunteered at higher ratios for population than any other group in the United States. They're decorated. You know, and when they used it, we all hear about the Navajo language being used in World War II. They used the Iroquois language in World War I. Why would Native Americans be involved in your wars when we're not one of you? It's because that sacred vision from the Iroquois was a part of your Constitution. And we believe in the sacred visions of Indian country. We believe in our elders and our ancestors. We believe in the teaching handed down for thousands and thousands of years, that this is how you conduct yourself. And so, I was thinking, it's great. What can you do? You're just one person. Well, take the address off that postcard and go find somebody. Go find 10 people to respond right away. If you do that, you've done it. You did your duty. Because that's how we work. We the people. You have to talk to each other. And so, go out and multiply. You got 150 people here, so what do we expect? 10 times that. 1,500, right? Anybody do the math? Did you do the math? Well, we appreciate you being here. That is a bear transforming into a human. Or it could be a human transforming into a bear. It's all about transformation. We all go through it. We transform a baby to a toddler, to a youth, to a teenager, to a young adult, to an adult, to a grandma or a grandpa. It's all about transition. I go to church, I get baptized, it's transition. We're transforming. We're learning together. That's what it's about. We're learning to love and work together. They have a legend. They say, a couple thousand years ago, this man came through from Middle America, South America, all the way up into North America. He walked from village to village. And he said, you got to love each other. Don't go to war. Practice the way of peace. They say that wherever he went, because he stayed for a few years in this village, and he moved up and down the Western Hemisphere. He said, wherever he went, he would hold his hands up and show his hand. One hand or two hands. And our loving people, they all do this, our Northwest people. Oh, see ya. That means we lift you up. Oh, see ya. We hold you higher than ourselves. You're a somebody. We're thanking you. And we don't know. We can't say. But when Hernando Cortez landed, the Aztecs thought it was that man who came back. They had their guard down. But smallpox killed them off. Not the conquistadors. Smallpox spread all over and they're dropping like flies. You know, and that smallpox had come up from the northwest. We don't know how soon. Killing off 90%, 100% of some of the villages. Then it came back and killed again. Came back and killed again. Then measles, then mumps, and then the common cold. We lived with nature. We were healthy. We didn't have diseases. We had prayer. Live with the power of the earth. Everything has power. Everything has a song. Everything. It comes from creation, the moment of creation. When there's a lesson where they say, inside you there's a seed. It's just waiting to sprout. You know what it's called? Christos. It's the roots for Christ. Woof! One day you have an experience nobody will ever convince you again. That was a sacred experience. I don't care what you say, I believe in it. I felt it. I seen it. I went through it. I experienced it. That's the power of belief. It blossoms inside you. And you'll always believe till the day you die in that experience. And we all want that. I was telling the group up above, I went into the woods with my brother for grief. I lost somebody real close. I couldn't take it, I was going crazy. So we had to go to the mountains and bathe in the winter water. My brother went out earlier, he already went in. I was catching up to him, going through the woods. You know, right there on that moss-covered log was this beautiful, pure white flower. Beautiful. Oh my God, I never saw one like that. I went and I picked it. I was so frozen, I carried it out like this. I got to my brother's old 150 Econoline van that did not have a thermostat. It felt like a freezer going up the mountains, and it still felt like a freezer. I said, brother, look what I found. Wow, did you ever see one? He goes, no. Must be an unknown species. So I put it on the dashboard. We're coming down, and the sun hit the glass, and it melted. It was made out of the mist coming out of the moss. See, that's transformation. You know, we're all like that. We want to transform, but we're a part of the earth. We're going to go back to the earth. The question is, what are you going to do to leave something better behind for your grandchildren? If you're not doing anything, then you should start crying now, because they're going to really hurt. And they're going to wonder about you. They may not even talk about you. My grandma and grandpa didn't do anything. My mom and dad didn't do anything. I don't know what to tell the rest of you. You had active parents. They've done something. They'll save the Salmon people, the Echo Trust people, the Columbia River people, the Umatillas, the Yakimas, the Warm Springs, Celilo Village. You know, their voices are calling out to you constantly. And I appreciate hearing you heard that. And I was wondering when I heard, seen that name up there, DNA. You know, scientists are looking into DNA. We got to hear it right here, the full story. Thank you.